Hey everybody, how was that new moon? We had a very, very powerful new moon, and we also had some interesting downloads that came through yesterday. So for me, I found that I was working through grief about my mom. I had fears come up. I was like, whoa, what is this? And, sometimes before I go on a big trip, I go through what I would call initiations, where I am everything that I need to purge in order for me to do the work as clear as a conduit as I can be has to go. And so I was interesting. I was talking to Spirit and I said, okay, so look, is this, my pre-purge before I go and work in Belize at the temples and the pyramids, or is this new moon? And, their answer was, it's really both. It's because everything that the new moon was dredging up, and it was bringing up that buried stuff that maybe we don't want to look at. It's like we get so busy day to day that we don't want to really look at it. And so this new moon is coming in and it's saying, I'm here. You need to see this. You need to look at it. But they also said that this is very much a precursor to the eclipses. And we've got an eclipse at the end of the month, a lunar eclipse. And then in April, we have a massive solar eclipse. And all of these are designed to clear things up within us, to push us to go further. And it's not an easy process. So I would pay attention to, how did you feel yesterday? And even if you were feeling great, what was the niggling little thoughts in the background? What were the worries that came up? Were there any fears? Were there any ideas? Because a lot of times the energy can be very yin and yang, to whereas one person is digging deep in their gutter, digging up all that stuff, another person is receiving ideas. So it's just really depends on what it is you need in that moment. And so for some people, they may have been doing really rough up until this new moon, and then the new moon felt fantastic because they had done some of the purging prior. And for others, you might have felt great, you were doing good, and then the new moon came and just knocked you on your butt. It really just depends. And all we can do is say, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm needing to see. And that's really the biggest theme for this month, is making sure you're not being an ostrich with your head in the sand about what is going on within. It's paying attention to the little thoughts. It's paying attention to the little fears that come in. It's paying attention to all that limitation, right? Because our fears, our doubts, our worries, all of those things are boxes that we've created, maybe at one point in time to keep us safe, but now they are our prison. And so we are working on taking those down. We're working on taking them down so that we can live this full expression of ourselves as it is downloading more and more and more. So if you had a great new moon, wonderful. If you were like me, where it was like, woo, I really found myself going deep into just really missing my mom. And then I had some fears come up. So I was just in it, and I sat in it. My husband kept saying, what can I do for you? I'm like, absolutely nothing. Just let me feel. Let me be with this, because there's nothing wrong with those feelings. There's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong. Even your fears, there's nothing wrong with them. They just need to be observed and examined. So we are in for some very interesting energy with the eclipses coming up. We're actually now in the corridor. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun as we go through this next phase. And so we're in that pre for the eclipse at the end of March. And then we're in that massive corridor in between. And then we'll have the solar eclipse on the 8th of April, and then we'll have the outlying part as well. So we're in the build-up phase now, and I think it's very much a time for pre-purging. So you may be feeling everything that I experienced yesterday, which was the coming up of the gunk underneath. You may be experiencing that in the next 2 weeks as we go towards the lunar eclipse. And be okay with it. Write your thoughts down, sit with things, and don't judge where you're at in your process based on, somebody else is flying high, because we're all in our own space. We're all in our own individual process. So I just want you to take care of you. I am heading to Belize on Wednesday, and I am beginning this trek through quite a lot of ruins. I got my little dog here. I had to take my daughter to school and decided to do an impromptu video. I am beginning the trek through quite a few of the pyramids and the temples in Belize, and a lot of the caves. The caves have been pulling me as I work with the Mayan energies. And then for the Equinox, which is on the 19th, I'm going to be on the water working with the crystal pyramids. I do have offerings for that. There's a link below if you're interested. I'll be sending either healings to where, you get energy from all the spaces I go to and little videos describing things, or you could just do the simple Equinox healing. So I'm in the pre-purge, and I'm getting everything cleaned up so that I am as clear of a conduit as possible. And I think that it's all a really good thing, because sometimes we can avoid stuff that needs to be seen. So take care of you and be very observant with yourself over this next few weeks, because it is going to show us a lot. And it's also a really good opportunity to just clear out, really just clear out the gunk and choose different. Take care.